traveled before. And I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a coach. I'm a consultant. I'm a pastor, but I'm really a dreamer. I love to dream. I'm that guy in the shower. I'm that guy in bed. I'm the guy with the pad next to his bed that he wakes up and he writes down what I'm seeing. And so I capture every one of these dreams. I've co-authored 8 books, and the story of those 8 books is pretty amazing because I can't write. And when you can't write, it's hard to do books. But again, that's all part of the story. My greatest gift is vision. I see things that people don't see. I see down the road, which in the beginning, when I did not recognize it as a gift, I kind of saw the vision, but I kind of forgot the middle part, how to get there. And I learned, I made so many mistakes. As a matter of fact, my biggest mistake happened back in the year 2000 when I had raised $1.3 million to start my dream company. And within a couple of years, it blew up and I lost everything. But the most important part about that story is there was about $200,000 that was going to go into a corporate bankruptcy. And I was urged to go bankrupt personally. I refused to do it. I didn't think it was right. But corporately, I had no say because I only owned 31% of the company. I went home to my wife, who just found out we lost everything except our house. And when I say everything, guys, I mean everything, not a penny. Not a penny to my name. And I told her I want to take on $200,000 of corporate debt, that debt that was not mine. Without batting an eye, she said, absolutely. It was the greatest decision I ever made in my life because it brought me face to face with who I really was and what I really believed. And it shaped me into the man I am today and allowed me to launch Legacy-Minded Men. My life goal is simple. I want to be a dash enhancer. What's a dash enhancer? Well, if you look on any tombstone, you see a birth date and a death date, and there's a dash between. That dash represents your life. My goal, everything I stand for, is to help other people attain the purpose that I believe God crafted for them from the beginning of time. And it's often a different purpose than they've had that they've ever dreamed of. And my secret to success, when people ask me, what is it? It's very simple. I asked questions, I asked people, I asked the questions to get me to where I needed to go. I never thought any dream was impossible. The most important thing I recognized is to really kind of rip that dream apart. And when you rip the dream apart, you're going to find a lot of stuff. But before you can rip the dream apart, what you need to do is ask a few questions like, okay, so what's the dream? So let's talk about you. What's your dream? Is your dream to grow personally? That's a great dream. We want to grow into the person that we were built to be. Is your dream to launch a new venture? So, you've never built a business or you've had a business, now you want to launch another one? That's a great thing to look at. Are you looking to reinvent or strengthen your existing business? Or my favorite is, are you looking to create that half-baked idea and make it fully baked? Pope on a rope. Okay, that's what we're talking about. So what I've learned, and by the way, I'm from New Jersey, so I speak very fast, and I'm taking a 2-hour workshop down to 15 minutes. So please bear with me.
Come on.
Here's what I've learned.
Read the email you guys sent last night. That's all I got to say. It was $1 million idea, but never mind.
I read that, Caleb.
Here's what I've learned. Dreams are a gift. They are truly a gift. But opportunities that come along with these dreams, like dreams, they come with an expiration date. Our dream, a lot of people, you'll read books and they say dreams don't have an expiration date. That's not true, because you have an expiration date. And the reality is, the garden of sad reflection is that most people take their dreams to the grave with them. That's why there are serums that were never invented. There was music that was never composed, books that were never written, ideas that were never hatched, because people took them to the grave. Why? Because they did not believe they had what it took to make it happen. You see, it all starts inside you. So let's take a look at you. There's a powerful word that, before we get into who you are, it's a mind-boggling word. I believe it's a divine word. Well, why do I believe the word attitude is a divine word? Well, here's why. If you take the letters the numbers associated with each letter, A being 1, T being 20, etc. And you add them all up, it equals 100. 100%. You see, the only thing you can control is your response to any and all circumstances life throws at you. In short, your attitude. And this is a lesson that most people never learn. But if you truly learn the power of this word and you recognize that your attitude is going to truly determine your altitude, no matter what. I don't care how bad your life is. I don't care how good your life is. Attitude is a core piece. And if we have the proper attitude, it can catapult us to break through any barrier, any wall that's standing in our way of being all that we can be. So I want you to just hold that concept of attitude. And now I want to share with you some questions that you need to ask yourself. So the book I wrote was called 5.5 Questions Everyone Must Answer. It's in search of purposeful identity. I believe that you can never fully achieve your purpose until you know who you truly are. And in my case, I'm a man of faith. So everything is on the foundation of Jesus Christ. That's where I build everything from. You might be different, but that's how I am. So these 5.5 questions have changed my life. And in the course of changing my life, they are now changing lives all across the country, because this concept of the 5.5 questions is now being taught in public schools as a mentoring program. The first question is, what are your strengths? We need to know what strengths do we have? This is so important. When you understand what your strengths are, you need to then ask yourself, well, what are my weaknesses? Now, weaknesses come in a variety of types of weakness. I believe that weakness can be broken down into 4 types of weakness. A DNA weakness is something that you're born with. For example, if you're born with 2 left feet, then you're probably not going to be a professional dancer as hard as you try. Okay, there are weaknesses called aptitude weaknesses. This is, I'm not good at English. So I'm going to struggle through that because it's an aptitude weakness, no matter how hard I really try. A third one is circumstantial, meaning that I lost a loved one, I lost a business. And because of that, I feel like I'm a victim, and when I'm really just victimized, and I need to rise above that weakness. Wow. And then the fourth weakness type is character weakness. And this is one type of weakness you have to absolutely overcome. Lying, cheating, stealing, all the things that were my bailiwick, I had to overcome in order to be who I could be. So what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Hey, what are your passions? What gets you excited? What lights you up to get you out of bed every morning? I break passions down into 2 types of passion. Internal passion, which is the excitement engine, which really gets you rolling. What gets you, I love to help people. That gets me going. But there's a second type, and it's called external passion. What an external passion is, it's anything that breaks your heart. So social injustice, racism, anything that breaks your heart, that causes you to be a person of action and get on board with that passion. So you've got internal and external passion. Then you have the question, what is your brand? When people hear your name or see your face, what do they think? That's very important, because I know that my name was mud. When people heard my name, it was like, run the other way, keep your hand on your wallet, because he's going to take it. And this is no joke. You know, I'm ashamed to say it, but it's the truth. And we're all about truth here, right? So what we need to do is look at what our brand is, and our brand can be changed from this point forward. I mean, that's what Caleb does, is he creates and builds brands through his funnel. He takes your ideas and creates brands from it. But we have our own brand, and we need to seriously look at what it is. And then my personal favorite question is, what do you believe? See, I believe most people's belief systems are built on other people's belief systems. And because of that, they've never made their belief system their own. And truly, that's foundational for us to succeed in life. We need to recognize that our foundation needs to be strong. So we need to pursue what we believe and put it to the test, so that we know foundationally we can stand on that without ever worrying about, you know, letting it break through and having us fall. And then the half question is why? Well, you got to ask yourself the question, why do I have those strengths? Why do you have those weaknesses? Why do you have those passions? Why do people think the way they do about you? And why do I believe what I believe? Incredibly powerful questions, incredibly simple questions, but they are foundational to taking your dream to the next level. And sorry, I can't go any deeper on that right now. So when you
Come on.
ask yourself these questions, what you'll discover is, are changes needed? Do I need to make changes? Do I need to recognize some of these weaknesses that I have that I need to fix? Do I have a branding problem? You know, do people look at me, it's not the way I'm supposed to be looked at. I'm not that person. We need to look at these things. And most importantly, are changes needed in my belief system? Is my belief system actually hindering me from going forward because it's a false belief system built on somebody else's beliefs? Do you have what it takes to take this dream to the next level? Well, that's a big question. And is now the right time? Well, look, let's assume it is, and let's go and let's explore the dream. Let's put it to the test. Number one, does it honor your values? Remember, we're talking foundationally what I believe. Does this idea, this dream, does it honor your values or does it go against it? If it goes against it, you toss it away right away. Number two, does it answer a problem that exists in the world? Well, you know, when we address problems that exist in the world, it's so easy to sell because we talk about the problem and now you're the solution because you have the solution to the problem. So much easier to sell than something that's been done a million times over. Does it help others? Listen, anything I want to do, if I'm dreaming, if it's just putting money in my pocket, forget it. It's got to help others. It's got to build others up. And will it help me go forward? You see, when we help others, we are truly helping ourselves as well. Because just like a teacher who has to study and study and study, he is learning more than the student. We need to recognize other people come first. It's not about us. This life is not about us, believe it or not. At least that's the way I look at it. And finally, is it unique? Well, I believe that if you can create something that's so unique, again, when we go out to market it, it makes it so much easier. So if you answered yes to all of the above, you passed the test, let's move forward. Let's get some discovery questions in here. So this is something I try to teach my kids with anything that they do. When you're looking at something, look at it this way. If I do this, what's the worst thing that could happen? And what's the best thing that can happen? If you answer the question, what's the worst thing that can happen, and it's just a really bad, it's going to blow your family out of the water, then you might want to say, yeah, I probably don't want to do that. But most likely, the worst thing that's going to happen when you try this idea is something that you can live with. So that's one of the questions that you want to ask. Do you have a clear vision? There are so many people that are brilliant, that they're out there with this great idea, but they have no vision. So when you ask them, you know, we used to talk about the 60-second elevator pitch, remember that? Then it went down to 30 seconds. Well, now it's 5 seconds, right? Can you give your vision in 5 to 10 seconds? Can you have a life sentence, that's a vision sentence that just gets it out there right away, that will get people to say, I like that, can I hear more? We need to be able to boil our vision down to something that's absolutely clear and concise. Because if you can't communicate it, you can't communicate it. Number 3, what type of business or entity should you be working in? Well, probably most of you are solopreneurs, but some of you might be entrepreneurs where you have an LLC or a C Corp or whatever. You have to determine, do I want to, what type of company do I want to have? And then you want to ask yourself, should I partner or go with somebody? Now, let me tell you something about partnering. I have heard so many nightmares and experienced nightmares of partnering. And quite frankly, I've been a nightmare partner at times. But what I really believe, and this is what I really want you to think about today, is strategic relationships. Not necessarily partnering legally with somebody, but creating strategic alliances that answer your weakness. I talked about my books, 8 books I can't write. But what I did is I recognized, even though I can't write, there are people that do write well that can take what's in my head and create a book. The same thing with any business. Look at what you're missing, what you're weak in, and figure out who in your circle, which I will call an inner circle, people that you trust, can fill the void and address your weaknesses so that you can have a complete entity without having the overhead to go with it. I hate overhead. Okay, I do. I had a lot of employees. I have very few employees right now. And the people that I do have as employees, I trust them with my life. So, but more strategic relationships, I have a ton of them because I recognize the power. Who should be on the team? This is a great book called Good to Great. If you've never read it by Jim Collins, read it. It talks about who should be on the bus with you. And more importantly, what seats do they sit in? A lot of times we have the right people on the bus, but we don't know where they should sit. We don't know their role. We need to figure that out. And the only way you can know their role is by understanding their strengths, their weaknesses, and their passions. Because there's a place called convergence where your strengths meet your passions like that. And that usually points to your purpose. How much capital will I need? Well, most people don't write down and count the costs. You got to write down, sit down and write and count the cost. What will this cost me to fulfill this dream? And do I have the mental fortitude to make this work? If you don't have a stomach for business and you can't handle the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, this is probably not for you. But if you have that fortitude, then boy, that's a really cool discovery question to address. Asking the right questions is a game changer. We need to be able to do so, and we need to ask the right questions. And listen, if you can ask the right questions, you are going to be 75% ahead of the crowd. So let's talk about the vision plan. What is vision? Vision is a mental picture of what could be, fueled by a passion to make it happen. It's two things. It's a mental picture. You see it in your head. You see this thing, right? But the other piece is, because a lot of people see it in their head, it's the other side that they don't do anything about. It's the action, making it happen. I have a passion that's burning within me to make it happen. Now, when you get that vision, you need to now put it down into a plan. And 4 things I want to share with you about a vision plan. Number 1, always reduce your plan to paper. When you take from your mind and put it on paper and keep tweaking it, it enables you now to sell yourself on it. It enables you to share with other people and get their opinion on it. Very, very important. We already talked about sitting down and counting the costs. And here's the thing about a vision plan. It sells you. You need to be sold on this whole idea, this whole dream. You need to sell yourself on the dream. Because if you can't sell yourself, you're not going to sell anybody else. And if you do sell other people, it's because you're not being transparent, you're not being honest, and you're blowing it way out of proportion into what it is. You need to be honest with yourself. Now, if you're expanding your business, I believe a full business plan is necessary, one with financials, everything like that, because again, it opens our eyes to see what maybe we don't see right now. So once you're building all this, you're going to need to seek wise counsel. Wise counsel is essential. When I was younger, I was the wise counsel. What a joke that was. Well, guess what? Now I surround myself with people who are going to tell me the truth, not yes men, which I've had around me in the past. No, people that are going to make me stronger. They're going to tell me the truth. And the first one that I always do is putting myself in the hands of the master, in Christ. I go to him making sure that what my vision is does not go against what the scriptures say, which is what my belief system is. That's Amen. My foundation. I go to people close to me who I can trust and share with them the vision. What do you see that I don't see? Open my eyes. And then experts in the field, people that I don't necessarily know, but I will seek out. Remember, I ask. That's my great strength. I will go to those people and I will ask them, hey, listen, you've been successful in this area. I'm not a threat to you. What am I missing here? Finally, we want to execute the plan. It's the moment of truth, right? Understand this, you're going to make mistakes. Failure is inevitable. Failure is good. Remember, failure is good. It just shows us a way it doesn't work, but it enables us to bounce back up and dust ourselves off and go forward. That's what happened to me when I lost my company. I am so much stronger for losing that company. Even though I failed, I felt like a failure, but I recognized afterwards, I wasn't a failure, I just failed. What am I going to learn from this failure? Adjustments are always needed. Remember, an imperfect plan worked with diligence can lead to the solution, but a perfect plan poorly executed will get you no results. Again, surround yourself with the right people and you will be able to test and approve what this vision is and put it to the test, making sure, is this the right thing for me to do? Final thoughts. Keep learning, asking questions, and growing. I cannot emphasize the power of questions. I cannot emphasize the power of effective listening and understanding that every day you need to take a step forward. Inspiration without perspiration leads to misformation. I want you to understand that. Inspiration without perspiration leads to misformation. If I am not all in this and just drenched with sweat, it's too easy. It's just too easy. We need to recognize there is power in the in persevering, because persistence will always overcome resistance. Always refer back to the plan that we talked about and refine it when needed, and always remember the gap. We talked about this. So many have had great ideas that it would have changed the world, but they took them to their graves because they never realized they could make it happen. And I am telling you that whatever dream you have, I don't care how big, is, especially if it's a God-sized dream, you can accomplish it, but you'll never, ever do it on your own. You want to surround yourself with the people who are going to build you up, edify you, and answer your weaknesses. And finally, the question that I would have for you is, what project do you have that needs to come on the workbench and get finished? I hope that today inspired you to go back in time and look at some of your little doodle notes that you wrote and say, you know what? I wrote that 5 years ago. I can do it. I use a program called Evernote. I don't know if you guys have ever used it. It's phenomenal. I've got over 5,000 notes in there, because anytime I get a dream or a vision, as well as a great quote or something, I go and I put it in that program and I categorize it, and I'm able to pull from it. And if you can address and ask the question of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it, next thing you need to do is absolutely move to action. So that's all I got for you today. Sorry I rushed it through, but hope it helped.
Wow. Thank you so
Awesome.
much, Joe. Wow.
Thank you, Joe.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, that was great. Standing
Round
up.
of applause. Round of
Innovation.
applause. All
Standing
right.
ovation.
Well, a lot to unpack there. I wrote down some notes, and I think we can make this interactive. First of all, Chuck, what are some thoughts or yeah, just give me a thought, initial gut reaction from hearing that talk. Like, what comes to your mind?
Well, the energy is awesome. I like the quote of the vision plan will sell your shelf on the dream. Like I never thought of that. You have to sell your shelf. So that's like, and hearing you say that you can do anything you want, like I truly believe that. It's great. There's so many nuggets in there. I want to keep. I want to make sure everybody has. If they don't come about, I'll shoot them all out to you.
All right.
I
Dr.
look
Jason, what do you got? What do you think, Jason? Where'd you go? Oh, he was saying goodbye.
Oh.
I thought he was raising his hand, but it was a.
Well, I'll tell you, Joe. I love how you just you have like a million questions. So I mean that's what you got to do, and you present it as not just asking questions outwardly, but asking questions inwardly, and that which forces honesty, right? And you just ask a million of them and just dig deep to get to the core of the truth, and I think that's key right there. Love it.
Yeah, Joe, I'd like to just say thank you. I mean, that was an amazing presentation. Having the foundation be Christ and what you've done with your life is amazing. I just met you, so kudos to you. One thing I really liked about your presentation was surrounding yourself with the right people. Right, we're all imperfect beings and we have strengths and weaknesses, but if we don't find the people that can help support us in the areas where we are weak, we're not going to be as successful. So that to me, I think is the golden nugget that I'm taking away is, I know that, but sometimes I don't act on that like I should. And I want to move from my vision to action. And by surrounding myself with other people who have strengths that I don't have, I think is the way to execute on that. So thank you so much.
Rob, thank you for saying that. I had a guy come up to me at a church 25 years ago, and he said, I just had such a great idea for you to do. And I'm like, no. If you're hearing this idea, you do it. You see, the problem is we truly don't understand. We look at other people as more gifted than us, but and that's true in some areas. But believe me, every one of you has incredible gifts. Every one of you, when matched with one or two or three other people, you are unbelievable. You are awesome, because that's how God made us. We are built to be relational. And we have gotten away from that relationability because social media, all these things, we get intimidated by what we're reading. And oh my goodness, he's achieved this and he's achieved that. Let me tell you something. Everybody on this call, everyone can achieve unbelievable things that you've never dreamed of. I want you to dream big, but I want you to dream real. And remember the order of things. It always goes, does it go against my belief system? Will it help others? Then will it help me? If you put that in the proper order, I promise you, you will have success as long as you start with a solid idea.
We know, you know what we do? We do that to our kids, because I remember my daughter sitting in the car one day, and I said, well, you know, because she was struggling with stuff. And I said, you would be really good in the pharmacy as an assistant and so on. And then I said something else, and she said, Mom, is this one of those things you wished you could do and you want me to do it for you? And we do that to our kids over and over and over again. So that was really good. You know, that's your idea. You're the one to carry that out.
Right. That's right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well
I
done.
like what you said, Joe. You were so textbook, and I don't know if you know that. In one of the philosophies on leadership, authentic leadership, if I remember correctly, and then even in the alignment, too many times a person's business does not align with their values.
That's right.
And so they go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And then we have to make sure that the alignment of those values are for our internal customer and our external customer. And too often, many of us already know that companies have these vision statements and mission statements say one thing, but their pay, their vision package, and their internal structure say another. So the fact that you are going out and teaching this, which is one of the things that I like to do as well, it is so apropos. But just what you said, it just makes my heart sing. Just everything, and how do we take Christ, to the marketplace? Last thing, and what I posted in another group that I'm in is that whether people like it or not, and whether what faith you are or not, people need a grounding. So whatever that faith is, you need to align your values. People cannot just be willy-nilly. And the data is showing that people that are grounded in some level of something do better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Agreed.
No doubt. If we're purposeless people, we're walking a purposeless line, and we're never going to hit the goal. Guys, we have to have a goal to hit. If we don't, we're going like this. So wouldn't it be better to find the goal that you were actually built for? I don't care what you believe. The reality is we're here for a purpose for whatever reason. And it shows out in everything we do. And the fact that you're on this call and you're sharing with each other tells me that you all want to be, you're people that want to either take your purpose and help with others, or you're looking to find it. So, yeah.
So,
kudos.
So let's take a moment. Why don't we take 60 seconds? Show me your pen. Where's your pen? Your pen? I got a pen.
Got a pen right here in my little book that you gave me, Caleb.
Bam. All right. And if you're using Evernote or some digital thing, fine, but this is just a visual. Okay. Take a moment, write down a dream. Maybe it's a dream for your current business. Maybe it's a dream for something that you haven't launched. Maybe it's something that you've abandoned. Something that's hidden in a moleskin notebook. Just write down a dream. And maybe it's not a business dream. Maybe it's something totally unrelated. Like it's a nonprofit, or you want to start an orphanage in Mexico. I don't know. Just take a moment, write it down.
Hey, Joe, while we're doing this, Joe, what was the name of that On the Bus book you were talking about?
Good to Great, Jim Collins. A must business read. There's a few business reads that you want. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, John Maxwell. Good to Great. Who Moved My Cheese? Who Stole My Cheese? My goodness, I'm going blank here. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. I mean, I have them all. We have an app called Not Just an Average Leader app. You can download. It's free, and it's got all my recommendations for the top leadership podcasts, top leadership pieces, top books. I'm telling you, download the app. It would be really good for you. It's called Not Just an Average Leader, and
I was going to say if you can put that in the chat, but
I put Good to Great in the chat from a Google
yeah,
link.
I'll do it here.
Hey, Joe, what were the 4 weaknesses? I know the last one was character. What was the 4 weaknesses?
Number 1 is DNA. It's something that's inbred in us. We're born with it. Maybe we're born without an arm or whatever, or again, we have no rhythm, whatever it might be. The second one is circumstantial weakness, which is based on what's going on around us in life. Death of a loved one, how it affects us, death of a business, depression, all of these things. The third one is aptitude, which means I'm not good with math. I'm not good with English. I'm not good with, whatever it might be. And then the fourth one is character weakness, which is the one that has to be overcome.
Okay, so hold up your paper if you wrote down a dream. Nothing.
It's on my
Okay,
website.
got it.
hold up.
I can read it.
All right, read it for us, Russell. What's your dream?
The vision, a world where all people are equipped to make informed decisions that keep their lives moving in a positive direction.
That's good.
Took
Mike,
years.
what's your dream?
Thanks for asking. To help business owners with passionate entrepreneurial drive to simplify the workflow to increase their cash flow so they can create great wealth and make greater impact.
That's good. Scott, what's your dream since you're sitting next to me?
To impact the lives of 10,000 married entrepreneurs.
That's good.
Nice.
Rob, new guy, what's your dream?
I was muted. Sorry about that. Mine's a big one. Help people live a healthy life, live with purpose, lose weight, and live drug-free.
Nice.
That's good. That's good. Craig, what's your dream?
I got about 100 of them. Joe and I are very similar. I'm a dreamer too.
One, not 100, just share one.
I'll share one. So one of my dreams is I want to employ African brothers and sisters. I want to help those who they don't really have the means or even the vision in their living place to pursue their own dream. I want to help employ them so that they can provide for their families.
And he's doing it. He's doing it.
That's awesome. Megan, what's your dream?
When I was a teenager, I had a vision of creating a nonprofit, which I just recently have put down on paper and I rewrote it right now, called HAT, Help a Teen, to help teenagers kind of stay out of the streets and just give them environments near schools where they can kind of hang out, because that was my saving grace when I was in high school. We had a teen center. And by the grace of God in that center, I didn't get into any trouble for the most part. So that's kind of my vision for my business, to be able to fund that nonprofit.
You will.
That's good. Dawn Marie, what's your dream? I know you got a million of them.
Okay. Well, when you talk about dream and passion, my dream is to speak on national stages. But I know that if I just said that, you were going to say, what does that mean? So my passion is to readdress the idea of Black racism in our country. So I don't believe our society is racist. And I want to help Black people come out of that poverty victim
Amen.
mindset that the carpetbaggers have been keeping them in.
Amen.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Well said. Well
You're
said.
I just say this. It amazes me how these pundits that are Black tell Black people what they can't do, but yet they work for the same people they're telling everybody else not to work for. And I want to come against that.
Mhm.
Good for you.
God bless you. That's a message that needs to be heard. Well done.
Yeah, we stand behind you on that one.
Yeah, we support you wholeheartedly.
All right. That's
Absolutely.
great. Afro, what's your dream?
Well, they're kind of like all hand in hand, but I want to have a successful copywriting agency and also teach courses to generate passive income and just be financially stable and not like have to depend on anyone. Just be like, stand on my 2 feet. And Joe, one thing that I really liked from your presentation is adjusting and persevering. I thought that was really powerful because like I struggled with that, with like persevering through the things that I approach in my life. And yeah, persistence is huge.
Awesome.
So
By the way, there's a great book. It's called Failing Forward by John Maxwell. When I lost my business, I was on a camp out and I got that book. I was as low as could be. After I read that book, it changed everything for me. As a matter of fact, I just had John out here. We did a leadership conference in February and he signed that book for me. And, you know, we got to talk on a stage about this. It meant the world to me to come full circle. Get that book.
Okay.
It's so important for us to recognize that failing is a natural step to success.
wow. Okay.
That's
Are
good.
you in California or
that.
Florida, Joe?
I'm in Florida,
What part?
in Vero Beach, Central Florida.
So far away.
No,
Thanks,
not
Steve.
that far away.
Yeah. So
Where are
Joe,
you?
I didn't clear this with Joe, but if I know Joe, I think he'll be stoked about this. So I'm gonna ask for permission publicly. Joe, so we are turning this presentation really into a webinar that offers a one-on-one consultation with Joe. And then he has some back-end offers to that. Joe, if you would honor us, would you basically take that consultation and do it for FunnelFlow members in a group setting in like a 1 or 2 hour workshop where you can kind of take us through this framework to really write down the dream, write down our 5-second vision plan, help us workshop style break out the different components of identifying the dream, writing the vision, writing a game plan to take some of these half-baked ideas and or even the ideas we're actively pursuing and go Afra's business, Chuck's business, Andreas, like we all have dreams we're pursuing, right? But really put it through this lens of these 5.5 questions everyone must answer. Is that something you would do for us?
Yeah, what can you talk about that? It's just a question of when.
Of course, when. Yeah, I'm not saying tomorrow, but it's obviously struck a nerve, right? Because people would not be on this call unless they were a dreamer, right? And I think it requires more we got to dig a little deeper on this, right? And I hadn't thought about this dream for a long time until you had shared, but my first entrepreneurial venture was a hot dog cart. And the first place I could find a spot to vend at was a skate park. And that little hot dog cart, just as a result of setting up and talking with the kids, like I had so many great ministry interactions, prayed for kids, saw his arm get healed. Like it was like a little ministry on the street with hot dogs, right? I was trying to make money and I wasn't making money, but I had like my own little missions outpost. So I was reminded of my dream to actually do that again at our skate park down the way. Yeah, this has been great, kind of reawakening just some old dreams I've had, that.
Caleb, you mind if I say one more thing? I see time is short.
Please.
Folks, we are living in extraordinary times. The next 6 months to 12 months are going to put tremendous pressure on business.
Yeah.
how you approach it, your attitude, how you approach it, your plan is going to determine whether you are going to fail, whether you're going to be status quo, or whether you're going to rise above. I believe everybody on this call is going to rise above because they understand the components. They understand the writing on the wall. Most people don't. Understand, extraordinary times introduce us to our true self. Don't you want to know who that true self is before the wave hits?
Absolutely.
I love that.
Are you a pastor in
Absolutely.
Florida, Joe?
I'm a men's pastor all over the world, Legacy Minded Men.
Good.
Very
Wow,
cool.
it's powerful. So we'll look at Joe's calendar when he can come workshop with us. And if it doesn't work out time-wise, that's okay, because this was a great start. But yeah, I'm kind of at a loss for words. So who wants the last word? Because I don't even know what to say. Andres, you haven't said a word. Share with us. You get the last word, Andres.
Oh,
Come on,
wow,
Andres.
no pressure. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I texted this right here. And so this is about vision. And so we know this is that where there is no vision, the people perish. And so what that means is the people behind you, your legacy, the impact that you have on this world is determined right now in this moment. Because in the past, if you focus on that, that's anger. You're angry at what happened, whatever that might be. And if you focus on the future, then you'll be fearful on like what's could happen. Oh my gosh, this is focus on right now, have peace and make impact and that vision comes right now from what Joe's talking about is so important.
And he used the
So-
word legacy. Folks, let me tell you what the world defines legacy as and what the real definition of legacy is. The world says legacy is anything that we bequeath or leave behind to others. But the true definition of legacy is what we leave in others. You see, when you leave
Agreed.
in a generation and a half, the money's gone. It's gone because people did not have to work for it. When you leave it in somebody, it's a seedling that grows and will carry forward for generations to come. It's difference, leaving behind, leaving in.
That's good. Awesome, Joe. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks,
Yep.
Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you for sharing. In an hour, 8:30 to 10, we have our members call. You're not a member. What are you doing? Come join us, right? Be there. Get your dreams. Get wheels and an engine for your dreams. And look forward to seeing everyone in an hour where we're going to be a little more tactical, carrying out, building our dreams. So thank you, Joe. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank
can
you,
join
Joe.
us, and we'll talk
Thank
soon.
you, Joe.